Hello! It's late, but a little less late than it has been. So, I have the before tarot, the after tarot, the modern on alchemy, and the happy tarot. I have the happy tarot. If anyone wants one or needs one, I'm going to shuffle these up, pull right off the top, run through the zodiac real quick. Start with the collective. I already shuffled these, but I'll get a few of them on camera. Quicksilver and gold. Argentum vivum, Argentum vivum, and aurum. You know what? 24 and 26. Hey, Holly, how you doing? And then why salt at the bottom? Sal sapiente? Sal sapiente. Eve, you made it, even though it's almost bedtime. I'm actually going to leave these here. Quicksilver and gold is interesting. I know sometimes I find it kind of difficult to not to be nice, but to find the kindness. So that's what I'm going to use the happy tarot for. And then I also have the book because the book is really good at like find happiness and learning that this dark night is only temporary. You know. Oops. Oh, sure, why not? Two of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, with the Five of Wands at the bottom. You've been out of town, but got back today. Oh snap! I didn't even notice because you had all your videos recorded out. Actually, I like the Knight of Wands for the Quicksilver, and then I'm using the before and after. It can be eclipsy. It doesn't necessarily have to be. I was actually going to use the Wild Unknown, but then I remembered I had the before and after tarot. I was like, I'll use those instead. Nine of Pentacles before, Temperance at the bottom. I'm also trying to glad to hear it. I'm also trying to I don't know what I was going to say. Get all this in frame. One more and cut. Nothing after besides the Magician. I'm going to leave the Happy Tarot off to the side. Quicksilver is interesting because it feels like there's this silver and gold balanced energy, but like the silver is quick. Like silver is attained. Whatever the silver is, it comes in fairly quickly. I don't remember where I've seen Quicksilver. I mean, I feel like I haven't caught the entirety of one of Russ's videos in a minute. Maybe Quicksilver is so quick because of the Nine of Pentacles here. And with Temperance. Because with Silver, it feels like it's an energy of like reflection. I already regret this. I already regret this. I seldom regularly think I'll regret these. Is that like accurate? I feel like that's an oxymoron. seldom, regularly. Mm, This isn't the collective, by the way. This is just what came out. Okay, let me try to skim through these real quick. I feel like that's a thing, though. I feel like I've heard it and I didn't just make it up. 26 and 24. Argentum vivum, slippery, mobile mercury. Part liquid and part metal, quicksilver, also known as mercury, is a mesmerizing material. Its gift is to slip between worlds. It cannot be pinned down or easily defined. Mercury came to symbolize the god Hermes and the great hermetic secrets of alchemy, always sliding away into secrecy, just beyond the alchemist's grasp. It is said Mercury represents the transition between the physical and the unseen worlds, between life and death, between science and the esoteric. It is the metal of sacred thresholds. Shamanic practitioners of every tradition must acquire the ability to stand at the doorway between worlds. This is no small feat. The Mercury card indicates the querent has a particular gift for such a task. This is the work of the shaman, teacher, sage, artist, and alchemist. Heed the call of Quicksilver. The sacred threshold requires your attendance. And I did see Russ uploaded a live sound ceremony at a sacred doorway earlier. So, I mean, if this is like, see, but I feel like this is the thing though, because I feel like here lately, it has like when I did the that Grand Air Trine, and there was the Sanctum of the what Valiant in the middle, when there was the Sanctum of Splendor. Every time Sun Splendor came out, like it feels like there's some really, really, really good energy that is like that we're quickly approaching. And again, it's like it's because of things that have already been done. Like we're coming into this before any of this at the Nine of Pentacles with Temperance sort of at its back. Now, with Temperance, this being before Temperance, I'll look into the Ten of Pentacles right there. The Ten of Pentacles is right there. Yeah, it was Saturn, and I mean, most of the planets are still there. It was Saturn in Aquarius, Moon conjunct Mars in Gemini, and then the Sun conjunct Venus in Libra. So, like, well, I guess the Sun will have moved a few degrees because it moves about a degree a day. The Moon is definitely moved, but like Mars, Venus, and Saturn should be relatively in the same place. So the Grand Trine should be relatively still like active. I think. I mean, it was like not that long ago. You had a crazy dream with the number three a few nights ago. Well, if it was a few nights ago, it might have been around the same time. I had a weird dream last night. So then, what's gold? Gold is the magnum opus. Like it's the what we're trying to do. Illumination, splendor, and culmination. The alchemist's gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. It is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as gold of the wise. Gold of the wise, and then the salt of the wise, or wise salt, is at the bottom of the deck. Interestingly enough, it is a substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as gold of the wise. Philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence, among countless other names. For our purposes, we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. How do we recognize it? It mimics qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright. It's no wonder gold is associated with the heart. When this card arrives, there is something of incredible value at hand. Well, all that. So it's this. Where is the line? I already got it. the mystical essence within each alchemist. This is the mystical essence within each alchemist. This is the doorway, the threshold between the internal and external, the physical and spiritual, ethereal, like. And it feels like this temperance energy has been working on sort of like opening that, or maybe stabilizing some pathway. Huh? A woman lost three things. One of the things was Persephone. A woman lost Persephone. Wait, what? Dragon babies. Hold it. It's funny that you mentioned three dragon babies because I know when I used the dragon tarot the other day, three gold dragons came out. It was Thor's black, red, and gold dragon, the golden Christed dragon, and then some other gold dragon. I don't have any. Ouch. Somebody, wait, wait. Excuse me. Oh, like Goosebird. Thought it might be Hecate or Hecate. I know Hecate came out in the moon card of the Tarot Apocalypsis the other day. I thought it was Persephone, but it was Hecate. And then Kirsty said something about Hecate or Hecate, but I don't remember. Mm-hmm. I think she said Hecate's been making the rounds or making her rounds or something. Ooh, this is out of frame. 1 second. I'm trying to get these all in. Oof, is that the Nine of Swords? It's the Nine of Swords under the Magician. I'm going to read these two in the book real quick. I would dig into that for you, but number one, you didn't ask me to, and number two, I feel like getting in over my head. So maybe not. You guys don't need me. All will unfold in their time. And then you will tell us if you so choose. So the Two of Pentacles is juggling more than one time-consuming role can be a precarious undertaking. Make sure you stay in balance and don't let anything drop. And don't let anything drop. You can find happiness by staying calm while multitasking. Knight of Wands is a person who is passionate about taking on causes. This person may need someone to rein him in a bit, but his energy is always intended for good. You can find happiness by taking on righteous causes. So I like how this says juggling more than one time consuming role. But yeah. Like I could clear my plate because I'm not super duper like I don't want to say committed to this. We'll ask Bixby. We'll have Bixby weigh in because y'all know I can't make a choice or decision. I mean I can, but I love chance. I love randomness. I love allowing the universe to flow. Hi Bixby. If Bixby, hold on, wait, I didn't. If Bixby says tails, then I will try to see what that was about if you want us to. Hi Bixby. Flip a coin.
All right, here comes the flip. Tails it is.
Ah! I wanted it to be heads, but I had a feeling it would say tails. So it's up to you, Eve, I guess. If you want to try to dig into it a little, like, if not, that's completely fine. It is totally okay. That was your dream, your download, your message, your thing to decode or whatever. I could also ask Siri. Let's see if Siri agrees. I'm just curious. Hey Siri, flip a coin.
Heads.
Ooh, Siri said heads, but Bixby said tails. Okay, so I will, but in a second. This two of coins is interesting. When I look at the two of coins, I like to look at a few things. One of the things I look at is how like off um center, I guess, the two pentacles are. Another thing I like to look at is like how far outside of the hand of the person. Like both of those pinnacles are in, like it feels like firmly in the hands of this individual. Not held too high. It's not too uncomfortable. It feels like something that like we can totally do. But the Knight of Wands is almost asking us to pick the like which one do we want more? Which one brings us more excitement, more enjoyment? Like if we could choose, which one would we rather have? It's also interesting because the Magician is at the bottom of the deck over here. There's no card that came out in the after, but the Magician is here. The Magician being here, again, it makes it feel like it's a choice that we make, but like there's also a balance in this because the Magician isn't holding any one tool, it isn't holding any one element. It's holding the double ended candle and it's using its magic to, I guess, like levitate all of them. So there is a certain balance here between all of those. But again, it feels like a choice that we make, but we make that choice with many things in mind: the earth, the fire, the air, and the water. It's practicality, it's desire, it's emotional feeling, it's something that sort of makes sense. It gets us closer to where we want to go. It feels good, and it feels like it's not the end of something. It's something that will unfold into something more. With the Nine of Pentacles being in the before, it does almost feel like it's outside of our comfort zone, though, because the Nine of Pentacles is so stable. And maybe that's the Two of Pentacles choice. It's a choice to continue sort of on in the same way or to go for gold. Okay, so I don't even know if I'm using the same decks. I got all these out and I took them out of their boxes. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So let's see. Let's read that again. A woman lost three things. One of the things was Persephone. Persephone. Oh goodness. Well, maybe because Persephone is on the High Priestess, so I don't have to pull that specific deck. Um, the deck that I just said I don't have to pull. It's fine. You know, I'm in a state of going with the flow, going with the flowing. So I'm still gonna put these over here. Again, like good times ahead. It feels like congratulations, you know. Oh, the sun. Do 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 do. Yeah, I'll grab it. It's fine. It's I can also grab the between tarot because it's down there. I just don't know what. Maybe the who doesn't matter specifically. Is that the Eight of Wands? It is the Eight of Wands. And this is the Page of Cups, I guess? Okay. Something quickly approacheth is approacheth its. Let me shuffle this. Ooh, a title card. And a hermit. Okay, a title card and a hermit. Eve is a Virgo. Title card is whatever that dream was. Does that mean I should just mind my own business? The Tower. With the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. The Tower and the Three of Cups, interestingly enough, though, but this is before. The Three of Cups before a Tower. I was going to say, like, with just the Tower and the Three of Cups, it feels like there's something that has to happen in order for something to, like, come together. It's almost like there are walls that have been built to separate people in some way, whatever those walls are. And the walls are going to come down so the people can come back together. In the dream, it was really important that you asked her the question. You wrote it down in the dream. Do you remember what the question is or was? Oh, or was the question like if she lost three things? You asked her if those were her three dragon eggs or three dragon babies. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's SKT right there. Is that Vitruvian? Yeah, that's Revelations. I feel it. No. Darn it. Oh, I'm grabbing the Vitruvian because there's three. I mean, it's the dragon and the phoenix, but they're represented on three cards: the devil, the Six of Cups, and the lovers. I don't know what I'm doing, Eve. Let me read Why Salt real quick, just to avoid whatever that is. This is number 28. All of these are in the 20s, and the 20s are that's the Justice era. Which, Libra season, Justice energy, it's not surprising. I don't know where I put that book. I literally just had it. I literally just had that book because I was literally just reading that book. I don't know what to do. Is this even something that sure? Because I feel like Bixby wouldn't have said tells if I really don't know where that book is. I guess I'm not supposed to read Why Salt. I guess I'm just supposed to move on and quit stalling and procrastinating. Okay, fine. Whatever. Oh, who was that? Magnum Opus, The Great Work. The reason why I went back to it is because there's three flowers and the Three of Cups had three people. Also, on the Keeper card of the Fool, uh, the Keeper and the SKT, all three of those um, roses have blossomed. So, oh goodness, what am I getting myself into? What am I getting myself into? Welcome back, Eve. Love ya. I kind of want to keep these out, but we'll sit those there. I don't even know if I'll use these. Is that the Fool? Yeah, it's the Fool. The dangling Fool. This Fool is interesting, though, because it feels like It's time to let go of something. And then the Hierophant. The Ten of Swords after. This Ten of Swords is interesting, and the Fool is still at the bottom. This Ten of Swords is interesting because it feels like they're about to put him in the grave, but he has to be there in order to rise out of it in the Judgment card, right? Judgment is number 20. All of the alchemy cards were in their 20s. So while it's justice for me, 20 is also judgment. But that's interesting because, like, again, with the Nine of Pentacles and Temperance, it did feel like we had already done whatever we needed to do in order to catch our reflection in a type of way to lead to that goal. But it's almost like it's very like, but that also came out before. It's like while we weren't, there's something that we did or something that we're doing that positions us to receive something that we're not even like aware of. It's almost like completing a contract or fulfilling certain conditions, and it's like fulfilling conditions for a contract that you don't know about. And then I feel like contract isn't the right word. It's like there are things that you have to do in order to get something, and you're doing it now before an announcement is made. And then it feels like there's going to be an announcement that's made that's like, hey, like in order to receive the bonus, you have to blah 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 blah. And then like when you receive the announcement, it's like, well, I've just done blah 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 like a week ago. So like, do I have to do it again, or am I eligible to just get the bonus? And it's like, oh yeah, like if you've done it, like here's the bonus. It's like that energy. Let's get mystical, mystical. With Everlong mystical. The never short psychic, I guess. What's another word for mystic? And it's interesting that the shaman came out in that Quicksilver because it was the shaman and the destroyer. Ten of Swords! The destroyer is the Ten of Swords. And in that Ten of Swords card, it was the shaman was embodying both physical and spiritual, like it's physical and spiritual elements. That's why it had like extra arms. The Quicksilver was like the portal gateway threshold between the physical and intangible. And then the gold was that inner, the wise, what gold of the wise of the alchemist, like the true essence of the alchemist. And that makes me think because I remember, I feel like it was a few weeks ago now, there was a reading where it was like the future is bleeding through the veil to the present. And so it's like actually aligning us to it in some way, or it's making an alignment easier. But then that makes me think of the Future Sentinel that came out the other time. No, I think it was the first time I used the Dungeons and Dragons. No, not Dungeons and Dragons. The Magic the Gathering cards. I don't remember if it was the first or the second time, but like there was a futurist sentinel that was going back to the past in order to ensure that the things that led to its future like happen. But with this here, or like with these here, it feels like whatever that needed to happen has happened. And now, however that golden timeline future begins, like we're going to be experiencing that beginning now. I don't know. Can you tell I'm like, oof? I meant to like turn that off before I started messing with it. Oh gosh, give me a second. Can you tell I'm still kind of stalling? Maybe stalling isn't the word. I don't even know if I'm going to need the in between tarot, but it's here. Hecate is a liminal goddess. Awesome. Okay. I don't have any I don't have the goddess oracle cards or anything like that. Oh, well, look what's at the cut. Judgment, apocalypse. Oh my gosh. With the bread of life, Ace of Pentacles, that literally I feel like every time I pick up this deck, it comes out. Bread of life. The Ace of Pentacles was at the bottom of the deck of the after tarot, I think. Ooh, the ebony shield. I think she might be the last. No, I don't think we've seen the Queen of Cups in this deck. The Sanctum of Treasures is here. Is that a dragon egg on her shield? I'm just kidding. With the hallowed flame. The ebony shield is the shield of the Archangel of Mysteries. The shining flame is at the bottom of the deck. Embers of the salamander. We're just going to get all of these out and then we'll see if I need them. I guess. I did pull the, what is it? Tarot Apocalypsis, yeah. So, as the deck is, because that's how I'm feeling it. I know there's Persephone in there, and there's Hecate. Hecate is the moon. Persephone is the high priestess. I always confuse Hecate for Persephone, but I don't know if I've ever confused Persephone for Hecate. I saw this card. The Five of Swords going into the Six of Swords. It's Godzilla heading back into the ocean at the end of the movie. Look at that blood red moon up there as we come into eclipse season. The lunar eclipse will happen after the solar. And then we have the Eight of Cups into the Nine of Cups. So it's interesting that they're both sort of like out in the water. Anyway. Not saying that that necessarily means anything. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. The Hermit again at the cut. Okay. It's reassuring me, even though I feel absolutely, completely freaking lost. The star going into the moon. Again, look. There's the boat. And then the Empress heading in. The Empress, well, it's between the Empress and the Emperor. And they're both holding on to... Well, that's the card, right? I thought it was the Lovers, but it's between the Emperor and the Empress. I like that it's between the Emperor and the Empress because it feels like they both have a hand in whatever this is. Also, it's making me think of, because again, in the SKT, the Phoenix is the feminine, the dragon is the masculine. And so we have both the immature, newly born Six of Cups, Phoenix and dragon energy, but then a mature Phoenix and dragon energy there. And they're both sort of in the same place. What's interesting is, though, they've switched color schemes, right? And that makes me think of, so with that grand air trine, it was interesting because Mars was conjuncting the moon and Venus was conjuncting the sun. So it was like the masculine planet is with the feminine element and the feminine planet is with the masculine element. And then there was Saturn that was trining both of them. Almost officiating, I guess that's the word, right? Their union or whatever. But they had to, I guess they didn't have to, but it was like with them sort of switching places or with them being in the other side of that polarity, there was something that it made stronger or faster or more energetically favorable, more auspicious. It made it more auspicious in some way. The star going into the moon is also interesting because it feels like for some reason it's reaching the end of like stars guide, right? It's like this is a constellation too. The moon feels like it's a it feels like it's a dark space, but it's not completely unilluminated. And so it kind of makes me think of that Akamar Acheron thing again too. But this is about Eve now, so Hecate assisted Demeter in her search for Persephone. Oh snap! Oh snap! You hear that, Eve? It sounds like Holly should be doing this. Holly's got the info. She's got the knowledge. Hey Ariel, how are you doing? How are you tonight, Ariel? Oh, I didn't even pull out the Tarot Apocalypsis. I was like, oh, are we all here? No, we're not. I did say as this deck is. I have a feeling like the all gifted is also relevant. And I did say as it is. So we'll put this up here. See, this makes me think of that Into the Woods song again, though. It takes two. The King and Queen of Pentacles are together? What? Okay. That's cool. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad y'all are feeling better too. Oh, goodness. The Three of Cups, the Moon, and the Prince of Wands. There's that Three of Cups energy again. The Prince of Wands in this deck is set, which, symbolizes chaos. Um, I'm pretty sure it's set. Oh, and look, the High Priestess is right here. So I think it was the Three of Cups, the Moon, the Prince of Wands, which is the Knight of Wands again, which we saw in the Shining Flame that's at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, the Shining Flame, Knight of Wands again. And then it's the High Priestess and the Star. Here's the Star into the Moon. So I guess these are relevant. So it's interesting that Hecate and Persephone are like separated by this chaos. Which again, it's interesting because the Three of Cups was like the Tower came out in the after with the Three of Cups, or is this the before? And it was like something has to fall in order for those three energies to reunite. Here's the chaos that's separating these two. And we can see like, oh, never mind. I thought it was like storms. I thought this was like a bolt of lightning off to the side, but that's just the outline of the cloud. And then this is this Aphrodite? I would almost say Eris because of the golden apple. Let me see really quick. Swords. Use your sword. Prince of Cups. Where's the princess? Is that the queen? That's the queen. The Queen of Cups is Aphrodite. Okay. Aphrodite, Venus. There she is again. Well, there is the Queen of Cups, and then there's the All Gifted and the World. Okay, so and then the Queen of Swords is there, and I think she's one of the Voluspa, but the Weavers of Fate or whatever. Literally, they're all together. They're all connected. And it's funny. I was like, oh, I feel like the All Gifted is connected in some way. She's literally like right there. So we didn't have to search too hard to find her. What does this mean? I don't know. The All Gifted is Pandora. Goodness. Oh, well, look. Okay, so in the World card, we see masculine and feminine sort of like coming together again, which is super cool. Um, Also, in the All Gifted, we see that portal sort of like behind her, which is also fairly cool. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Hmm. So we have the Three of Cups, the Prince of Wands, the Star, the Queen of Cups, and the World outside of all of this. I actually like the world on the other side of the All Gifted because it feels like we go through that portal. And then there's like another sort of there. It's also interesting that you say Hecate is associated with liminal spaces because this is something that exists outside of the world. Like the entirety of Earth is here. This is happening outside of that. I feel like I should defer to Russell. I'm like, oh yeah, like take this to Russ Eve. He'll break it down for you nice and good. Because like even though it's like flowing, like even though all the cards are like here, everything was like boom, 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 boom. I don't know if it's my own like resistance. I feel like it kind of is. Where I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's fine. Let me get over it. Because I can still go looking for the three Phoenix Dragon pairs. You said it was important that you ask the question. See, but that feels like this. Um, that feels like the star going into the moon. because it feels like it's one of those almost high priestess energies, but the high priestess is Persephone. So before and after Persephone, it's um, oh, you said you had this. You said you had that dream a few nights ago when we were in that grand trine energy, because the sanctum of the valiant had on her shield the bird eating the snake, which is symbolic of like Horus overcoming Set. It's the point where order wins over chaos. We have the healing after the embodiment of that chaos, before and after the high priestess. But anyway, with the star going to the moon, it feels like one of those like you like you said in the dream, like you have to ask the question, and so they try to like somebody tries to guide you to ask the right question so that they can tell you what it is that you actually want to know. You know what I mean? So it's not, it feels like it goes beyond that, just like you ask, I answer. It feels like it's a little bit more invested in you, sort of like getting to know the truth. But at the same time, I guess there's a question of like, why is it important for you to know what you're asking for? I feel like it's a really great way to help eliminate any potential confusion. Because if you ask the specific question and you're given an answer, then you know that that answer is to the question, especially if you have to like phrase it in a certain way. It feels like it's to help eliminate confusion. Um, let's see. Let's just keep going. Oh, look, there's our Eight of Wands sharpshooter again. Five of Swords, Star, Death. Okay. I'm looking for the Phoenix and the Dragon. So we have the Queen of Cups again in the Ivory Shield. The first pair of Phoenix and Dragon with the Tower. Okay, thank you. And then the Archangel of Mysteries. That's the king to the Ebony Shield. Oops. Then we have the Pugilist, Nine of Wands, with the immature dragons, and then the Ten of Wands. And then we have the Conservator with the fully mature ones and the Nine of Pentacles. The Magician and the Six of Wands are outside, but we'll look at this Magician. Divine powers of the mortal spirit. I love divine powers of the mortal spirit because it feels like things that we can do as mortals, or elements and aspects of divinity that we can embody as mortals. And again, that's super interesting because in that Ten of Swords, not only was it the shaman that was embodying both their physical and spiritual sort of attributes, but with the two drums, they were used. It's like there's this process of purification so that a divine gift can be received. Like that was the purpose of that purification. Um, and so, again, divine powers of the mortal spirit, it's like once the mortal spirit has awakened its capability or increased its capacity, it can hold more of divinity to a point where, again, with the magician, it can begin to affect things. Oh, look, there's Mercury. There's your Quicksilver right there. on the hand of the magician. Oh, look, there's the wise salt. So we see Quicksilver and the wise salt, both. And they're both on the left side. The light is also sort of terminating on this side. It starts here and then it sort of terminates there. Um, oh, goodness. The order that these came out in is interesting as well. So the first Dragon Phoenix pair, it's in between the Ivory Shield, Sanctum of the Immaculate, and the Tower. The Tower is Mars. Mars and Capricorn. Mars is actually exalted in Capricorn. That's why every time I rant about how Saturn Mars is actually like a pretty good pair. Again, like for me personally, it was another one of those things where it's um, like I would hear some like, oh, Mars and Saturn are an aspect, so you're not going to be able to do anything that you want to do. You're going to feel like your passions and desires are super limited, and you're going to basically go stir crazy because you can't do anything. But then one day I'm like looking at a chart or whatever, and it's like, what? Mars is exalted in Capricorn. Like Mars loves to be in Capricorn. Where did that come from? Just like when it was Mars is in Pisces, so nothing that we do is going to matter because everything is an illusion, nothing is real. But Mars is like the decan ruler of the third decan of Pisces. It's literally the 10 of Cups. And I'm like, what? So we're supposed to just miss out on this 10 of Cups energy? And again, it's interesting because Mars has been coming out so often in the Wild Unknown Alchemy. And the magician, again, it's the divine powers of the mortal spirit. Mars is the vehicle through which we affect change in the universe, in our lives. It's how we move, it's how we operate, it's how we get anything done. And so to cast Mars in the way that it seems like it was casted is to debilitate ourselves. But anyway, oh, look, the tower is the material and spiritual colliding, which, we've already seen. But this tower, it features the axe of Shiva. The axe of Shiva removes corruption. And then the Queen of Cups is associated. I mean, she's a pre-high priestess. Pre-high priestess, and the high priestess is here in between Set and the star. Again, the thing that was keeping something from coming together. So it's like the fact that you remember Persephone was one of those eggs it makes it feel like that sort of part is already done. Or that part is like that's one that we're aware of, right? I actually did want to make sure this is set, so give me a second. Apollo, no. Swords, no. Princess of Wands. Prince of Wands is set, god of chaos, rivalry, and aggression. Okay. And then that's met with the star. The star is, who are you? There's the tower. The star comes after the tower. The cult of the Virgin Mary, Stella Maris. So the entry for the star. Child, there will come a time when the darkness of the world consumes you, a time of deepest despair where you are tossed upon the tempestuous seas, fearing for your life and your soul. Here you have lost everything with the lost dragon eggs. Here you have lost everything, but there is one final thing you can give up, a prayer, humble and true. That also makes me think of Pandora, how the one thing left in the box was hope after the, what, seven deadly sins or whatever escaped from the box. Not just the seven deadly sins, it was, whatever was released. Here in the darkest storm ravaged skies, I shine my brightest and will not abandon you. When you call to me in earnest, I shall pour forth the waters of salvation and blessing. I shall save you in body and soul. For I am the mother of the world, the star of the sea, the queen of heaven, and the lady of perpetual help. I feel like I just read something about the soul, the body and soul. I shall save you in body and soul. And maybe that's something to do with Persephone too, as one of the few Greco-Roman. I mean, I don't know all of Greco-Roman mythology, but as like the principal person who goes from underworld to overworld. It feels like there's like in the overworld, it's the body, and the underworld, it's the soul. I was going to say it's interesting that first we see the phoenix and dragon chained up in the devil. Then we see them reborn in the Six of Cups. And then we see them mature in the lovers. There's also a hint to the necromancer, the moon here, because of the moon with the scarab. And that's Anubis, who's associated with the underworld. Moon in Sagittarius, Saturn in Sagittarius. And then we had Sun in Scorpio and Gemini. I wish I had more room to like put this all together. Oh, snap. If those were her dragon eggs or three dragon babies. I feel like So the conservator in the eminence is Hecate. I mean, she's on the moon card, so I'm assuming so. Oh, snap. So here's the moon, Hecate, right? When light fades in the silver paths of the moon, snake across the dark earth, the people shall call out for their mother in her waxing and waning, calling her thrice down, torch bearer, key bearer, child bearer. That torch bearer caught my attention because of the awakening in the hallowed flame. Card of Flux, Shadows, Magic, and Feminine Mysteries, Dark Roads of the Subconscious. What is the All Gifted? Hecate was given many names and epithets that express her nature and her mysteries. Enodia, of the ways, and Trioditis, of three ways. Stood at the crossroads, Dodokos, torchbearer, Phosphorus, lightbearer, and Propolos, companion or guide, illuminated the way into and out of the underworld for Persephone and for initiates. Brimo or Brimo Terrible revealed Hecate's fearsome face. Propolia, before the gate, stood at the liminal points of the world. Chthoniya, of the earth, and Iodonia, of the underworld, made her home in the realm of the shades and Hades as Clydocus. She bore the keys to the world, and Chorotropos, child's nurse, gave Hecate a mothering face. I'm butchering all of these. We know little of Hecate's mystery cult, which was shrouded in secrecy. We are given brief images of her mysteries being attended, celebrated by torch bearing mystics on the island of Samothrace at night. Initiates into her mysteries were believed to be protected against terrors and storms. Accounts say that they took place in a cave suggestive of the entrance to the underworld, into which initiates would probably have descended to be shown her sacred mysteries. It is as mistress of the underworld that she was commonly invoked in magic, where she is presented as a fearsome mistress of the dead. There you go. So probably. Um, what was this? That part, initiates into her mysteries were believed to be protected against terrors and storms. That's why um, it feels like that's why the tower might come with that Three of Cups energy. Because if initiates of Hecate are protected against storms, it's like they'd be the only things left standing. So then they could see each other in a way. What's interesting is though, like this feels like I'm gonna say it feels like a super protected space. Or it feels like a space that's hard to penetrate into because like this set chaotic energy exists in between the high priestess and the moon, between Persephone and Hecate. So it feels like it's like the space itself, of course, would lead one to just sort of like fall into whatever chaotic, listless, lostness of the mind trying to navigate that space. And actually, along that sort of thread, it feels almost initiatory in a way. Like I wouldn't like it's not too far of a stretch of the imagination if the she is Hecate, like for the trial to be like to bring three things that are whatever. And so then as you present those three things, it's almost like a password. The password is, are these your dragon eggs? And not only do you have to have the phrase, but you have to bring like the right thing, the right energy. It feels like it could be approving of some sort, and then you are initiated further into whatever. And so there may be, I want to say passageways. There may be sort of energetic points, I guess. Not energetic points. I don't. It's like your intuition, your spiritual sight might stretch further into those dark places and provide you more clarity, if that makes any sense. And so this all gifted, like it feels like she, like Pandora, went into that portal. Maybe the portal led into the underworld, and there were like treasures that she collected, and then she reemerges to sort of almost offer them in a way. One of those things would be the golden apple of discord, given to Aphrodite by Eris. Well, I guess technically by Paris. Um, I don't know if there's anything in this Three of Cups. Like, there's this liar down here. But that's not a. Because Pan had a flute. Orpheus had a lyre. Like, the only lyre that pops up immediately, I think it was Orpheus, and he used the lyre to put Cerberus to sleep so that he could enter the underworld. Apollo, figuring out it was Hermes who had his cows, confronted the young god. Apollo was furious, but after hearing the sound of the lyre, his anger faded. Apollo offered to trade the herd of cattle for the lyre. Hence, the creation of the lyre is attributed to Hermes. I just googled like lyre mythology. It's attributed to Hermes, which that Quicksilver Mercury is associated with. Um, what? It was ordinary played by strumming it like a guitar rather than plucking it like a harp. Okay. The young god Hermes stole a herd of sacred cows from Apollo. In order to not be followed, he made shoes for the cows which were facing backwards, making it appear that the animals had walked in the opposite direction. Apollo, following the trails, could not follow where the cows were going. Along the way, Hermes slaughtered one of the cows and offered all but the entrails to the gods. From the entrails, which is almost Valkyrie energy, and a tortoise slash turtle shell who created the lyre. Apollo, figuring out it was Hermes who had his cows, confronted the young god. Apollo was furious, but after hearing the sound of the lyre, his anger faded. Apollo offered to trade the herd of cattle for the lyre, hence, the creation of the lyre is attributed to Hermes. Other sources credit it to Apollo himself. Let me make sure it was Orpheus. And I'm pretty sure Orpheus used the lyre to put, yeah, Orpheus lyre. The lyre belonging to the legendary Greek figure Orpheus. Blah blah blah. He used it to put Cerberus to sleep. I'm like fairly certain. Orpheus is known as a legendary musician with the ability to trick, persuade, and charm his way around obstacles thanks to his supernatural lyre playing. Is that why it's called a lyre? Because of Hermes? Okay. That would be hilarious. Anyway. So we have this lyre. We have the golden apple. And I mean, it feels like the star and the world both take place in like the same place to me. Like it feels like the star also exists outside of the world. Um, excuse me. Oh, that makes sense. If I think about this, I feel like it makes sense. I never necessarily thought of Persephone as like a psychopomp because I never necessarily thought of her like I don't want to say like it's it's fine. I never would have thought of her as like because like I know that like she would know the ways from the underworld to the overworld and vice versa because she goes there so frequently and so often. But I would never necessarily imagine her as like transporting people or taking people or teaching someone those ways. But I guess I've had a pretty set view of Persephone in her mythology of like Demeter needs to let her daughter go and blah blah blah. So while she goes back and forth, but then that makes me think of I think she's the queen of light elves and she goes between I don't remember her name, but I feel like she goes between Midgard and she basically goes between like the upper world and the middle world. Like she vacations to the middle world or whatever in the summers or something like that. I don't remember. It was her entry in the Yggdrasil Norse divination cards. What exactly am I supposed to be doing, Eve? I feel like I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, because honestly, like, especially getting this far, it feels like, it just feels like some kind of dream. I don't want to say dream initiation, because maybe initiation isn't. Maybe it goes back to this the divine powers of the mortal spirit. And it goes back to like as many times as I saw the hermit card, even though it's not the hermit. Well, I did see the hermit in this deck has a drum. Oh, duh. As many times as I saw the hermit card and I didn't think to pull before and after the hermit. Actually, I looked. I know strength is on one side of the hermit. I don't remember what was before it, but I did take note of it as I um, passed by it because she has a drum, and that drum. Who is this? Oh, that drum was associated with the purification that leads the vessel to being able to hold enough divinity into judgment, well, their strength. So it's judgment, the hermit, and the fool. There you go. Thank you. See, and then like this boat, it makes me think of Charon, the ferryman over the river Styx into the underworld. There's the star. See, and it looks like there's this like cosmic dragon looking thing that's like I mean, it doesn't. It's making me. It's giving me the vibe of some cosmic dragon-looking thing, and like that's going to like eat that star. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just like there's some kind of mystery. I guess that is. I don't know. You're being initiated. You're being initiated into. Oh snap! You're being initiated into some kind of um mysteries. It feels like a personal message about equal parts in three worlds. Actually, that number three is interesting for you. It's interesting that you're getting a personal message. I mean, maybe that's why it's personal. Maybe that's why it's a personal message for you. Because now that you say that, that makes me think of the number three that had popped up for you before. Wait. Okay. So yeah, I guess there you go, Eve. Hmm. I feel like I should just unlist this one. But maybe I'll leave it. I mean, maybe it's just like a thing in general. Communication coming to us through our dreams or whatever. And I feel like I don't even have a deck to like go any further. Um, I guess I have this. I'm just curious. I'm curious to see what'll come out. I feel like it's not going to give me anything, but it might. Who knows? Maybe it'll give me a card that makes me that triggers whatever. Right? It's all intuitive anyway. I saw that flip over, but there we go. Well, as long as you got whatever you needed, Yeah. So how do I make this more general? I mean, I feel like generally it is just that. And again, it feels like it goes back to that fulfilling the conditions for something, and we don't even necessarily know what we're fulfilling the conditions for. But once we've met all the conditions, we get the subsequent reward for having fulfilled all the conditions. There's something here that's like, it's not my business, so I'm not gonna like pry or poke or press. It just intrigues me very much so. But like I said, it's none of my business. So, um, yeah. Okay. I mean, everything like again, it was all sort of there, um, all connected, all right next to each other. I think I got a fairly. I don't remember how many cards it took me to get there. I just saw Anana Ishtar on when I put one of the cards away. She's the Empress in this deck, and I know she's associated with going to the underworld and re-emerging, coming back. And I know that because of formerly Miss Reaming Healings, now the Rare Gazelle in her Gate 1 reading, she talked about, I think, Anana's descent into the underworld and her emergence as Ishtar or as Anana Ishtar. But honestly, though, that just it makes me think of the dream that you had about the rock and how the rock like showed you something. Because I feel like that had a very similar energy of like being initiated into a certain space and like getting full clarity in that space, being able to like see. Friend, I feel like I haven't seen her in like over a year. I'm not used to it. Anyway, it's fine. Sorry. I need to make my way to Canada, but to like Quebec. So unfortunately, like I feel like everybody besides one person that I know in Canada is in like Ontario, but this one person is in Quebec. So, and maybe again, like that's like this sort of energy too, because the star was, and then you see all like the ghost ships, the ghost ships. Maybe those are like underworld peeps that are like, let's meet up at that one entrance to the underworld that like nobody but Hecate, Persephone, and those who have traveled with them know about. It's like, okay, bet. Final card from the Tarot Apocalypse. Oh, I said card. Card, duh, like one. This is one of my favorite Temperance cards. I also really love Temperance in the Astral Matrix Tarot. Temperance, the Tower, the Eight of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles. Who's at the bottom? The Seven of Wands. I'm not even gonna like read those. We're just gonna put them back, and then I'll get another final message. Is this associated with the stream? Interesting. Oh, I didn't show you the. I guess I'll look at that really quick. Um, the Sanctum of the Valiant, the Scarlet Shield, or the Golden Shield. I think she's the Golden Shield. No, it is the Scarlet Shield. She was at the middle, or he was at the middle of the Grand Air Trine, and you can see on his shield the bird eating the snake. I think it's like Horus and Apep, chaos and order. Um, I don't know. It's into one of those real like you tell me. But again, there's something about um, your energy, and there's something about I want to say your modality, but I don't know if modality is necessarily the right word. That feels like I can see that being like very for you. Like to me, it makes perfect sense. I feel like it would also explain your. I don't want to say obsession. I feel like it would also explain the significance of the ghost dance to you in some way. I don't know if explain is necessarily the right word, but you may be about to find some stuff out. I feel like that was not. I feel like that wasn't a sentence. You may be about to find some things out. Oh goodness! And then we have the Ace of Swords. The Sacred Word. Bottom of the deck is the Convalescent Four of Swords. Jupiter and Libra. Nine of Swords. The Force and the Joyous One. 10, 8, 9. Mars and Gemini. Leo. Mars and Pisces. See, because look, the convalescent is at the Four of Swords is at the bottom of the deck, and then the Nine of Swords was the first card that came out, right? The Nine of Swords was behind the Magician at the bottom of the after tarot, but it feels like because like look, in both of these cards, like someone is standing there as you sort of like rest, right? This is very much so feeling like that Hecate, Persephone, whoever, like the torch bearer, she's like literally coming bearing the torch. So there you go. And then you have the force and the joyous one. I don't know, it feels very contextual. But again, like I'm not necessarily gonna try to personalize that anymore because I don't need anybody's spirit guides, ancestors, angels, who and whatever energy is coming to reveal something to anyone in particular. I don't need any of that coming after me. So the rest is for you, and I'm sure you will sort of it will continue to unfold for you in the way that it is meant to. So thank you for opening up that opportunity. Um, Maybe that because I don't know if I don't know if it's necessarily like come up in a reading, but I guess it's cool to know that that energy is out there. I know. I'm just saying, like, oh, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Queen. It's not in this deck though. That's why I didn't recognize her. The Queen of Cups in the Vitruvian edition is my like. She's the one that comes out when I'm supposed to mind my own business, and when it's one of those like whatever this is for you is for you, and it's not for me to like tell you, it's not for me to try to dig into, because I could get this completely wrong. Number one. Number two, it's one of those like what is like, it's like employees only keep out whatever. There was a hot second when she was like coming out and I was like, ooh, okay. And then in the Yggdrasil Norse divination cards, it would be it was that one dude who came out and he was like the guardian of like sacred treasures or whatever. Oh, look at that title card. Two of Cups. The Two of Cups that leads to the Three of Cups. What's interesting about this card, because that's what the Lion of Judah question mark. That's Ariel. It's like the Caduceus again associated with Mercury Hermes. So how much Mercury Hermes is like, oh, you're a Virgo. That makes sense because Mercury is your planetary ruler, which I guess would make Hermes like your ruling Greco-Roman deity. Um, Also explains all the Hermit. Like the Caduceus is just like floating up in the air. Like it has fully taken on its own whatever. So yeah, I know. Well, I don't know, no, but like all of that is it's as soon as like you let that one come and I was like, okay, yeah, you get it. Again, it just like I don't know, it's so you. Like I feel like this like it like it to me as an outsider, it makes sense from top to bottom. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I get it. But there was still one part where I'm like, oof, okay, well. And again, like I said, I'm not gonna pry, I'm not gonna press, I'm not gonna do whatever. Because that is not for me. Oh, hold up, wait. Well, yeah, it's fine. Anyway. So I'm gonna put these away now. Like one card would be lovely. One card would be thank you. It's justice. Wait. Oh goodness. So here we see Mayat with the scales of Anubis judging the heart against the feather, weighing the heart against the feather. We see the person. Well, we see a sarcophagus. We don't see a person. We could assume it's Osiris, but that's Mayat and not Isis. I'm actually curious about her. The bottom of the deck is that Queen of Swords again. This is such an energy of like, oh, it's so just like puts my stomach in knots. Um, I don't even know how to describe it. I want to say it's like sacred endings, um, because sacred endings are sacred beginnings. But it feels like if we, because the Queen of Cups came out a few times, it feels like if we reach out and try to, it's almost like the Matrix and how the Oracle was like, she can't see, I forget what she said, But it's like she saw her own death. And it's like if we reach out as the high priestess and try to feel something out, it feels like the vision that we see would be like the Ten of Swords. But like that Ten of Swords is actually just the beginning of the next phase or the next whatever. And like that's the part that the high priestess knows. That's the part that all of divinity knows. But it's the part that like we're not allowed to sort of see. And I don't know if it's like I don't have to get into the nitty gritty of it, but this is the ancient Egyptian concept of Mayat justice. The pathway of righteousness is a tender balance of cosmic order and human will, of action and reaction, cause and effect. There is nothing you do in this web of a world that does not affect the whole pattern. Pluck one strand and the whole shivers. Break a connection and it weakens. When I read that, like pluck one strand and the whole shivers, it made me think of the lyre. And how it said that the lyre is played like a guitar, not like a harp. So it's like pluck one strand and the whole shivers, but we're supposed to like strum it. So, woo, woo, wow. That energy that's intense. That's insane. That's crazy. Pluck one strand and the whole shivers. Break a connection and it weakens. Yeah, see, you were there too. The universe responds to your every movement and moment, breathing and bleeding with you in symbiosis. Thus, it maintains the order by which the seasons process. The sun follows its course in the sky, and stars are born and die. This is justice. Not only the human hand of judgment pronouncing punishment and reward for what is done and not done, but the equilibrium that perpetuates existence in the world maintained by divine and human will. Maintained by divine and human will with that magus, divine whatever of the mortal spirit. Was it divine power of the mortal spirit? But again, like that's that Ten of Swords, like the shaman embodying both the physical and the spiritual. It feels like, um, because there's something about the human that moves with divinity, and like you already know about the whole like seed or whatever, which actually like came out, and I guess so. Yeah, I guess I'm not super surprised. Wow, that's a super interesting. Thank you, Eve, because that's a super interesting energy. And I feel like if I think about it in that way, it actually gives a lot of context to something that it's been like unfolding in dreams or whatever. It's fine. This isn't my reading, so I don't have to talk about it. Um, Yet do not mistake this equilibrium for equality, for to treat all things in nature the same creates imbalance and need. The heart and the feather are in balance not because they are the same, but because they are different. Mine are the mysteries that unfold beyond the veil of the balanced scales, for I am the fulcrum upon which the order of the universe rests, and the gateway through which it manifests in the world. Know me, and you shall live in truth and peace. You shall go forth in joy, certain of the rule that governs you. Come to my halls, and I shall show you the measure of the world. I love how that line where it says, do not mistake this equilibrium for equality, for to treat all things in nature the same creates imbalance and need. Just like personally, love that. Because I don't, it's, I mean, I can get into all the reasons why I love it, but because I don't know if, I feel like I've talked about it enough. I don't have to talk. Who was that? The Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Oh, snap. This Six of Swords means that there's, oh, and then the All Gifted right there. Love it. This Six of Swords, it feels like there's a cooperation of spirit. There's an element of spirit that we need to proceed at least smoothly in some way. And it's interesting that, well, here's another boat. That's interesting in and of itself. But it's like without the participation, without the cooperation with spirit, what is supposed to be a Six of Swords energy is going to be a Five of Swords. That's going to be stormy seas. It's going to be all of like the storms and lightning that those that Hecate are protected by are like immune to and resistant to. That same, it feels like that same protection is, it's not that it's not being offered, it just feels like it's not in cooperation with the element of spirit. It's mankind to in its own will, because it's like, oh, like if it's, spirit and person, like humanity, if we co-create with spirit, then I can tell spirit what I want and spirit has to give it to me. And Mayat was like, just because it's an equilibrium does not mean it's equal. Just because you get a say, just because you get a vote, doesn't mean that your say and your vote and your word has as much weight as every other voice. It's like we take what you say into consideration, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the decision isn't yours to make. I mean, it is and it isn't. It depends on the situation. So yeah, that's a humbling energy right there, potentially. I do want to read this Queen of Swords though, because she's appeared so many times. Pentacles, where are you? Maybe I won't read it. Oh, here we go. King, no, that's Cups. Here she is, the Voluspa. The vulva, sorry, the vulva, the wise woman who teaches and speaks truth. You call me for wisdom and truth. You welcome me and set me upon the high seat. You offer to me warmth, yet you fear me. Know you not the kindness I show you? Know you not the love I bear, sorry, you when I let the vapors take me and the word song carry my spirit in between? My mother is the great abyssal waters, and the wondrous expansive air is my father. I am the child of seeing, the daughter of prophecy and wisdom, the mother of the knowledge of the weave of the world. Let me speak, and I will tell of the unknown, the forgotten, the mysteries. Let me see, and I will know the truth that lies behind the smoke, the wisdom hidden in ignorance, the honesty covered in lies. Use my answers as you will, but know that my sister is the Valkyrie, and truth is as sure as a weapon. Wait, and truth is as sure a weapon as the hand that wields it. Hear me now, Freya, great mistress. See my work and hear my words. I weave and spin. I sing the songs to open the roads. I breathe in the smoke. Possessor of the fallen slain, fair tiered deity, I work the Sadir in your name so that the truth of all may be shown. You who welcome me and fear me, see here the weave and weft of the web the Norns have given to you. See the word that connects you to all. You deserve to know your fate, your place in this world, the truth that surrounds you, yet you cannot see. Here it is. So, she's the weaver of that web. She's one, she's the weaver of the web, but it's how we play it that matters, right? Because this one talked about plucking, like when you pluck one of the strings on the web, it sends out reverberations or whatever. But the lyre told us that we're supposed to strum it like a guitar, not pluck it like a harp. But it's like if we strum that web like a guitar, like it's like the energies are so different. Like I feel like I feel like I would be a lot more. I feel like I would be nervous to even like pluck a thread. You know what I mean? But if they're like start strumming, like I feel like I don't know. I see like waves rising and earth quaking and volcanoes erupting, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to play it like that. I don't know. It's like that. It's intense. It's like it's crazy. But again, it does feel like it mirrors and echoes the energy that we're sort of like coming into or that we're like in. But like it feels like that's why the Nine of Pentacles and Temperance came out in the before. It feels like because of the work that was already done, because of the position that we've already reached, that's why we're being told to play in the way that we're being told to play. Right? Like if it was going to cause the world to fall apart, I'm pretty sure Spirit wouldn't be telling us to strum it like a guitar. Like, why are you plucking it like a harp? Don't you know how to play? You've been taking all these lessons. Don't you know how to like do the thing? I don't know. Anyway, that's like it's a really, really, really interesting energy that's sort of out there. So again, thank you, Eve, for being the portal gateway temptress for opening this up for us. I'm kidding. It's great energy, you know. It's great energy. I'm just the dude that reads the cards. Let's get a can we get a happy tarot? First, let's get a happy tarot for the Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, what's your happy tarot for that set? Chaos and all that other stuff. Uh, this one won't go in. You see that? What's the Knight of Swords? Who was at the bottom of the deck before? With the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. The Knight of Swords. Let's see. There's Cups, Pentacles, Swords. The Knight of Swords, a person whose quickness may make him overly impulsive. This person makes a great ally with guidance from older, more experienced leaders. You can find happiness if you control your impatience. And control your impatience with the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Things are speeding up, and you can expect news very soon. Be ready to take swift, positive action as soon as you get the word. The wait is almost over. You can find happiness through acceleration. So it feels like this Knight of Swords energy might actually be perfect for the Eight of Wands. And it was the Knight of Wands that we were sort of like clarifying, right? So it's almost like when the energy was slower, it was about it said the Knight of Swords is impulsive, but the Knight of Swords is impulsive in a way that's very different to the impulsivity of the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is impulsive out of like desire. The Knight of Swords is impulsive like because it thinks that it's right. It's still like very rooted in logic. And so it feels like when things were slower, there was something that we were learning. In the pause, in the standstill, there was something that we were taking the lessons, right? But now that it's time to strum, we don't have to proceed with the same level of caution that we did before. But it's also because of what we, again, like it's because of what we learned. Feels very like circular in that way. This was very much so not what I had planned, but that's fine. That is way more than fine. Eve's dream. Where is the box? Well, I don't know. I can put it away. Oh, here it is. I think I do still want to get a collective um, before, after, and the alchemy in between. Because, like I said, that first one didn't feel like the collective. Maybe it didn't feel like the collective because it was the precursor to that. But again, that's just because it said something about. I'll just read it again. No, I won't. I don't know. There's just like a very, very, very interesting. Almost, if I had to put it in runes, it would be. I don't know if Ofurlagu would be first or second. Like Ofurlagu would definitely be one of the runes. Um, Maybe like stankness. No, because it feels like the stankness part of it is over. I don't know if there's a. I feel like there should be a rune. It's Ofurlagu and then Yarna. Um, Ofurlagu, Yarna, and then like Ur. And then there's like this almost sort of overall Athel that's in there. But I feel like there's like one. Lafruma. That's what it is. It's like Lafruma, Ofurlagu, Yarna, even though like Lafruma and Ofurlagu are kind of at the same point. No, Lafruma comes before Ofurlagu. It's Lafruma, Ofurlagu, Yarna, and then like I said, or but maybe instead of or it's Ethel. Um, anyway, not that that probably means anything to most of you, if any of you. And no, I'm not about to pull before and after those runes, or I'm not about to pull the runes because this video is already 2 hours long and it's fine. Yeah, I remember you asking about that one and how it was spelled. Oh, that's so interesting. I mean, I guess again, like it isn't. I mean, it is. It's fine. This is the after tarot. Look, there's that Ace of Pentacles again. The Ace of Pentacles. I mean, I love to see it, honestly. You know, who wouldn't love to see an Ace of Pentacles? I'm going to say 153.30 for the collective part. Where's my collective 1:54:00? Thank you. So I guess we'll start with the after because I have it. We'll go backwards because why not? The future is coming to meet the present. So don't be overly focused on the past. Like one card would be, well, however, okay, I say however. Oh, look, there's a tower. And the Knight of Cups. Nope. Oh, well, there's the tower. Okay, well. Bottom of the deck is the world. See? The tower in the world. Let's get one of these. I could see like a new pearl. I mean, I feel like I've seen like 5 cards in this deck. But a new pearl I can see for this. Actually, it might be a process that I don't even know. Let's see. Let's see what comes out. How do you like shuffle this deck, Eve? Oh, what was that? Yeah, it's Spiritus Rector. Benevolent Guide. See? This is the Lafruma Ofrlagu that I was trying to put into words. I was trying to put into runes. Like, this feels like the energy. Which I'm like, what? The bottom of the deck is another one I haven't seen. Cauda. Let me put my glasses back on. Cauda Pavonis or Pavonis? The Peacock's Tail. Ooh, girl. Ooh, girl. Why is this like? This looks like these two make me think of the moon. Right here, these trees, because that's like the moon card in the Wada known tarot. So it's like there's this whole, maybe it's like the underworld, because there's just a bunch of moons, but then there's like this rainbow that just sort of like cuts through all of it. This is 55, master number 55. This is 57. So now we're in the realm of temperance. We're in the realm of temperance, and like in this, of course, we're in the realm of temperance. Temperance reading as like the liminal space, though, between the world of the physical and the world of spirit. Which again, like, oh look, there's the world and the Three of Cups. So before that's the end is the tower for a whole new world. So really quick, because we saw the magician earlier. Look, there's our Knight of Swords. That's the Knight of Swords that came out in the Happy Tarot. A not so happy Knight of Swords. Woo, the horse is like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I thought the sword was just for decoration. Like, ooh, don't get blood splatter on me, please. Like, you just washed my coat. You just brushed me. I don't know. The horse is freaking out. Anyway, um, in the world card, she's holding two of those wands, and the magician in the after tarot, so in the same tarot deck before, he was holding one of them, right? So Mayat was like, you get a say, but like you get a say. There's more than just your voice. The world has two. The magician has one. So there you go. I just thought that was cool. Or maybe that's telling in some way. Oh, look, the Ten of Swords. Of course, it's the Ten of Swords. Like, what other card would it be? It's the Ten of Swords before. We saw the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck after. Well, this came out, actually. Bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups. So we've seen every knight today except the Knight of Pentacles. So look, well, it's going in the opposite direction. Because I put this from after to before, if we go from before to after, it would look like this. The Ten of Swords will be heading into the tower, like knowing exactly what it's getting into. But since I did after and then before, it's actually walking away from the tower. The reason why I like it this way is it feels like the Ten of Swords is heading for the tower, but it doesn't hit a tower moment because of the input of this spirit guide. So let's read number 57. There's 50. 58, 56, 57. Spiritus Rector. This is inner voice, guide, and ally. Oh, how easy it is to doubt the presence of the Spiritus Rector. The alchemist, falling into a moment of forgetfulness, feels alone in the laboratory and begins to doubt their work. Is this literally not like, who was that? Was that the Star? Like, I feel like I literally just read this entry in the Tarot Apocalypsis. Like, let me grab this book. I'm pretty sure it was the Star. It might not have been, but I'm pretty sure it was. Or was that the Moon? No, child, there will come a time when the darkness of the world consumes you, a time of deepest despair where you are tossed upon the tempestuous seas, fearing for your life and your soul. Here you have lost everything, but there is one final thing you can give up: a prayer humble and true. Here in the darkest storm-ravaged skies, I shine my brightest and will not abandon you. When you call to me in earnest, I shall pour forth the waters of salvation and blessing. I shall save you in body and soul, for I am the mother of the world, the star of the sea, the queen of heaven, and the lady of perpetual help. And then the moon, I feel like also mentioned that. When light fades and the silver paths of the moon snake across the dark earth, the people shall call out for their mother in her waxing and waning, calling her thrice down, torch-bearer, key-bearer, child-bearer. I shall come then to rest at the dreaded crossroads of night, standing sentinel for the lost and the seeking. The baying of my hounds warns and guides as one, my torches blazing in their eyes, showing the way down to the caves of the mysteries. Follow their howling in the moonlight, seeker, lost one, and you shall find the place of my secret rites. And then what did the Queen of Swords say? It's all of these like spirit guide energies coming in this time of darkness. Like they always do. Like, that's what spirit guides are there for, but it feels like not that they're coming in a capacity that they haven't before, but maybe what they have to offer is different than what they offered before. Anyway, the alchemist, falling into a moment of forgetfulness, feels alone in the laboratory and begins to doubt their work. Disarray and discontent follow. Who do I listen to? Where do I turn for guidance? All the while, the benevolent guide hovers close, waiting to be acknowledged, waiting to be heard amidst the noise of the world. It whispers words of kindness and encouragement into the ears of the alchemist. When this card appears, it asks us to recall the guidance we have received at important junctures in our life. That benevolent presence is constant, not conditional. Now is not the time for struggle or fear. Soften into the gentle humming of the wise bee. You cannot make a wrong choice when the Spiritus Rector is near. And again, like falling into a moment of forgetfulness, feeling alone, and beginning to doubt their work, disarray and discontent. Like that's what the Ten of Swords is like. It's the Ten of Swords before. It's all very, I don't know. Oh, did he? Wait, was that? Oh, no, that was Hermes. Okay. It was Hermes who put the cow's shoes on backwards so that when Apollo followed the trail, it misled him. I was like, wait, I remember reading something about the shoes. What is this card of Pavonis? The tail of the peacock. Oh, I flipped way back and it was only 2 entries prior. Full vision, the spectrum, and inclusivity. The peacock's tail is a sacred image in alchemy. The mesmerizing display of tail feathers opens to mark the alchemist having shifted from single to multi perspective. This is a great achievement. The alchemist has opened 1,000 sets of eyes instead of one. They've discarded black and white thinking and allowed the full spectrum of colors, nuances, and solutions to come into the fold. Creative solutions to complex social and political polarities can be found in this sacred space. The force field of possibilities has opened, and the alchemist has entered a new paradigm belonging to multiplicity, dimensionality, and inclusion. Utilize this perspective for positive change while it lasts. When falling back into black and white thinking, as any alchemist will do, envision the splendor of the peacock's tail. Each feather contains a shimmering universe of possibility. And then again, like we have a whole new world here. This Knight of Cups is interesting, though. Like collectively, again, like we're headed into something, but it feels like it's not going to be as bad as we fear it might be if we fear it. Like it feels like because the world is here, like it's not that, oh, like there's this impending tower moment that's not going to happen. It feels like the tower happens, but it doesn't feel like a tower. Like the tower happens so that a new way can be opened up. Again, it feels like Flussa, but it's a lot more violent than Flussa. Like Flussa to me feels pretty passive in a way that like we have to put forth the effort of asking and seeking, and then once we find the root, whatever, we get through, like we realize platform 9 3/4 is a gateway instead of a dead end. Uh, and that energy's been coming out a lot. Is this the wolf? The benevolent guide? The one who was beyond the veil just watching, who in the last reading in the Page of Cups in the Legends Tarot we saw with the with us? That made like the wolf has been here the whole time. So again, like this in like it makes sense. I guess I just never really thought to ask who the wolf was or what the wolf was. I don't know. So that's, I guess, what we have to look forward to, collective. And I don't like, again, like it's the tower in the world. So it doesn't necessarily feel super easy, like it's the Ten of Swords before the thing has happened. But we saw the Ten of Swords after. The Ten of Swords after had to be in the grave so that when the judgment call is made, so that when judgment comes, it will rise and be reborn. And judgment was on the other side of that hermit. And maybe that's what this is with that spirit guide and this peacock tail. But isn't that, anyway, it's fine. I don't have to dig too much further into it. I'll put these away. Should I read these in the books? I mean, I pulled out the books, so why not? I don't know if I've necessarily too much read the books for the before and after tarot. So uh, that's the tens. Pages. No, these are Pentacles, Cups, Wands, Swords. Use your sword. Here we go. The Ten of Swords. Dead man walking. The Ten of Swords depicts suffering, pain, and grief. A determined warrior walks past a thicket of shrubs where a group of soldiers has gathered ominously. They camouflage. You can't even see. Oh, you can. They're in the back. Huh. They're all back there with their swords. Does he not notice? I think he does. They camouflage themselves with leaves and branches and glare menacingly at him. Why is this Macbeth? When Macbeth or Lady Macbeth got a prophecy, it was like the forest from the witches, and they were like, when the forest walks, then you will meet your demise or whatever. And they told him that he wouldn't be, it was like something about being woman born. A man who, like someone who isn't woman born, would kill Macbeth. Good night, Eve. I know I'm like pushing it. Have a good night. May your dreams be sweet and your risings tomorrow be sweeter. Um, and so it was a bunch of stuff that they thought would never happen. But it's like the soldiers disguised themselves as like trees or whatever. And so then they were like, oh, look, the forest is moving. And then I don't even remember his name. The person that ended up taking out Macbeth, he was like, I wasn't from woman born, I was from woman ripped. It was something that there was like a comfort in thinking that something would never happen. But since it's the Ten of Swords, it's almost like a discomfort in thinking that something would never happen. But then the spirit guide comes and tells us, the benevolent guide comes and tells us that the thing very much so can happen. And in some ways, the thing is happening. And in other ways, we can experience that thing a lot quicker than we thought if we sort of align our choices and decisions with that of the universe, spirit, the divine. Their heads are barely visible, but their swords and their intentions are unmistakable. The warrior is about to be bushwhacked, and his long red cape makes his back a visible target. In tarot, the 10 cards normally represent conclusions. When the 10 of swords appears in a reading, those conclusions are inarguable. The figure in this card is doomed. Swords are rarely literal. In most cases, they represent words, thoughts, and verbal duels. In this case, the swords that threatened could symbolize vicious personal attacks, gossip, and backstabbing. A card of suffering, pain, disillusionment, and grief. Historically, fortune tellers were careful to point out that the Ten of Swords was not a card of violent death. However, it sometimes did suggest imprisonment or treason, especially if it was followed by an ace and a king. Traditionally known as the card of ruin. Instant interpretation. If you're worried about being stabbed in the back, don't turn your back. Instead, turn around and face your fears. There was something over here, though. Conclusions that are inarguable. Again, going back to that, like, something that maybe like we didn't think would happen or could happen. It makes me think of the Rare Gazelles. It was a while ago. I feel like it was the Four Samurai Swords mandala. And it was something that like it makes the impossible inevitable. So it feels like it's an energy of like great celebration because the thing that we thought would never happen is happening. I mean, I guess it could go either way, but it reads as gorgeous. What we had hoped for, but didn't quite think we would get, we will. And no small part because of how, again, with the treadle that came out before, because of choices and decisions we've made, because of how we've progressed in our path, and because of what we make ourselves open to. When we're truly open, that's when spirit can step in and show us the way. But almost kind of sort of in a way like Eve's dream, it's something that we have to sort of ask for, or it's something that we have to initiate. If we ask, the way will be shown. And if we're ready to take it, then we'll get the result that, we desire. This Tower card. Look, that's the person in the red cape. I feel like, though, with him outside of the tower, it's almost like it blew up before he went in there. So he avoided that, like, and he avoided the top of the tower, like crushing him too. So, like narrowly, like you barely, not barely, like narrowly escaped, but escaped nonetheless. Um, where are the majors? Where are my majors at? Oh, they don't do it like that in this deck. So this is a 7. So they put all the 7s together. The chariot, the tower, and the 7s. Yep. The tower. The tower. Where is the tower? Oh, it's down here. Down and out. The tower card is a card of sudden, unmistakable transformation. So we have unmistakable transformation and inarguable conclusions. It offers a surprise ending, a dramatic twist, and a rude awakening. A tall stone tower struck by a fiery bolt of lightning crumbles to the ground. King and queen is dead at its foundation. They fall into their death, forced to jump to flee the flames that consume the structure. Bats swarm in the darkened sky like the swirling clouds behind them. I don't necessarily like the imagery of the king and queen falling to their death, but because it said if the 10 of swords is followed by an ace and a king, it can pretend not great things. And so again, it's like it feels like whatever energies would have been present or whatever we would have thought of as like an obstruction, as an obstacle, like it's removed, it's taken care of. It has no hold and no bearing on us anymore. It's the tower. It comes after the devil. The chains of the devil are broken. After the tower, we go to the star. Gorgeous. A tower is a symbol of achievement. It's the physical manifestation of a reach for the sky. But it feels like the breaking of those chains, like the crumpling of this tower, is an achievement. The facing of fears in that 10 of swords is an achievement. Because every time we looked away, there was something that we didn't see. Spirit is guiding us. The benevolent spirit is guiding us to not turn our back, to not turn our face, to keep watching, keep looking, and keep moving forward. Because when the moment that this peacock's tail, like the feather of the peacock's tail, falls in front of us, or we'll catch it out of the side of our eye, we'll know where to go. We'll be taken out of this forest of moons, this moon forest, the grove of moon energy, where everything is just like dark and partially lit and things look like what they're not because nothing is fully illuminated. But again, like it feels like the challenge of the tower is very much so present. It just isn't going to end the way that we might fear it does. Keep your eyes open, says the tower. Don't bury your head in the sand. And then I already read both of these, so I'll just put these away. And that's what I got. So thank you, Holly and Eve and Ariel, for being here. Interesting. I feel like interesting to say the least. Times ahead. What does any of it mean? I honestly do not know. Am I supposed to know? No. Do I have an idea? Sure. Like I have an idea of like it's not that it doesn't make sense, but it's just like wait, like what does it mean? You know what I mean? Like what does it mean? I don't know, but whatever we feel led and guided to do now is definitely the time to do it, to keep doing it, and if we haven't been doing it, to start doing it. So. I guess I'm gonna put this away and then I'll end the video. All right, I hope y'all have a good whatever. Excuse me. I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And until next time, may your ears be open, your eyes open, your throats and mouths open, your whatever, all of your senses. And may you find the superflume of harmony and movement. And may you have the wherewithal, I guess, to not spin out in the current. Um, and may you have a prosperous and hopefully smooth transition into hopefully all that you wish to experience, or into the beginning of all that you wish to experience, because it's definitely a season of beginnings. Beginnings amidst chaos and amidst craziness and amidst all kinds of things. And until next time, bye.